Hello. Being the author of Terror Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You, I would obviously be remiss if I just did not respond about something with Israel finally hitting Iran after nuclear talks between the U.S. and Iran are spinning their wheels and going nowhere, as we all knew they weren't going to. Uh, Neville Chamberlainism. Whether you believe Neville Chamberlain was just engaging in a facade to buy England time, it didn't believe that piece of paper he was holding up. Peace in our time. It was all a ruse to buy time. Or if you believe he was actually foolish enough to believe that, the result is the same. They needed to buy time. Uh, Appeasement of tyrants doesn't work. It never has. It never will. Fanatical, unhinged lunatics bent on using power and death and destruction upon others only understand one thing: strength and power against them. Power that holds them in check, or power that removes them from their power to rain terror upon others. So the Neville Chamberlain lesson, regardless of what you think of him, remains the same, that some haven't learned from history. Likewise, we're dealing with fanatical lunatics, much like, as I go into in my Terror Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You. It's not only about Islamic terror, because terrorism isn't only from Islamic fundamentalists, or as I call them, Gijas, global Islamic jihadist interim army soldiers. That is the biggest threat right now. But decades ago, the Supreme Truth, a Christian doomsday cult, believe as the Ayatollahs, Islamic radical, unhinged people, that raining death and destruction is their job, because they think hastening Armageddon will be rewarded. Whereas we, speaking as Christians for constitutionalist politics, understand in several principles. If you're in a position to thwart evil and do nothing, you're complicit in part in the evil. You don't have to directly aid and abet the evil, just not doing anything and allowing them to slaughter innocent people. You are in part complicit, right? The Burke quote: only thing necessary evil prevail, good peoples do nothing. And as I spoke with Christopher Armstrong Stevens on a show about Revelation, we can't be complicit in allowing the evil to occur. We all know what's coming based on the book of Revelation, but you shall be known by your fruits. You reap what you sow. We are meant to sow good and try to reap good. Failing to do it, failing to act when we could to stop evil, makes us in part complicit in that evil. That's not our place. That's not our time. Revelation and everything else is on God's time and God's terms, not supposed to be on our time and our terms. The Supreme Truth engaged in terrorism, again, a Christian doomsday cult. The Iranian people are not our enemy, but the Ayatollahs and that other leadership in Iran who are nuts, like the Supreme Truth leaders were, are our enemy. They don't sit around chanting death to America as just a throwaway add-on to their chant death to Israel. No, they call Israel the little Satan. They call us the big Satan. But yet some Neville Chamberlain types think, well, whether it's fear of wanting to do something not nice to prevent greater evil doing something worse, again, makes you complicit to a degree in the evil that you're allowing. They want to what? Sit around and wait until there's a mushroom cloud above Tel Aviv, New York City, and Washington, D.C. They don't need a perfected nuclear warhead. They don't need ICBMs. Look at what Ukraine did to Russia not that long ago. They used trucks to smuggle in drones closer to targets for greater surprise attack effect and giving the Russians less time to prepare defenses, whereas if a bunch of drones were launched from Ukraine, Russia had plenty of time to counter, react, and engage countermeasures. Now imagine a dirty nuke on a truck, or in the case of Iran, imagine them putting 3 on ships, 1 off the coast of Israel, 1 off the coast of New York City, 1 off the coast of DC. They don't even have to land the ship and then put it on a truck. A dirty nuke is such that if exploded simultaneously in those 3 locations, you want to wait till DC, New York City, and Tel Aviv are all smoldering and millions dead for you to then decide, okay, I guess now we better do something. You're ready and willing to wait for that to happen? Because the Iranians have been saying through these nuclear talks, they will not give up the enrichment program. Period. These are fanatics. They are engaging in Neville Chamberlainism, more or less, trying to appease us and you know, drag us on, pull our leg, drag things out, buy time for them to enrich enough material to create nuclear weapons. Now, and we know they're going to break the agreement. They know they're going to break the agreement, but yet they hope we'll be dumb enough to not do anything again, yet again, when they break yet another agreement on their way to nuclear weapons. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention was Top Gun Maverick. You remember that movie? Do you not understand? That was really about Iran. And indeed, they do have a facility built deep underground, and that likely Israeli weapons alone aren't going to be enough to do what needs to be done there. Now, unlike Top Gun Maverick, we're not talking about sending in a couple planes and Star Wars style threading the needle of the vent. What we need is Moabs, mother of all bombs, and bunker busters carried by B-1 bombers, because these things are so massive, to drop multiple times on this facility that's hardened, to try to loosen it up, then be able to follow it up with other precision guided musicians, I was going to say, munitions, pardon, to bore down, hopefully then deep into the facility before exploding. We aren't likely to completely destroy it, but we must do as much damage as we can. We're not assured to destroy it, but attempting to not destroy it is complicit in allowing them to have the weapons. And as I explained, they don't need a perfected nuke warhead. They don't need ICBMs to deliver them. People refuse to learn the lessons of history, Neville Chamberlainism, even the history of Ukraine trucking in drones to attack Russia of just a short while ago, and that Iran has the capability to do that with a dirty weapon, or hand them off to terrorist proxies to do it for them. When are people going to wake up and learn the lessons of history? As the saying goes, those who fail to learn from it, doomed to repeat it. Well, also the saying, history may not directly repeat, but it sure rhymes a lot. And again, a whole lot of people seem content to wait till millions of dead and DC, NYC, and Tel Aviv are all smoldering. Oh, the last thing I wanted to say, again, these are fanatics. They think they will be rewarded for hastening in Armageddon and end of days. So they welcome the counterstrike. They think they'll be martyred and again rewarded. They don't care that nuclear fallout will blow over Iraq and then also into and onto Iran, because they don't care about their own people. They are fanatics, again, like the supreme truth. They believe it is their duty to bring death and destruction upon others, to hasten Armageddon. Yet some haven't figured that out yet, and the result will be mushroom clouds. I'm going to wrap it up here. I could go on and on forever, no doubt, but I think that covers the main important points.